Hey, welcome back to my channel. And once again, I'm back with another special video like I promised in the last video. And in this video, I will be sharing with you with some of my favorite Christian fiction reads. First up, In His Steps. The title says everything for itself. In His Steps is one of those great classic novels. And the WWJD movement, which stands for What Would Jesus Do movement, was actually based on this book. And this book was written by Charles Sheldon. I had the privilege of reading this book in the early or mid-90s actually. And I can't remember how I came to hear about this book. I think I heard about this book from Pastor John Hagee. And I went out and I ordered the book. And I think back then I paid like $1 and change from it. For it. So today probably you can pick it up for 99 cents, but don't let the price fool you because it is worth $1 million. That book is a powerful message, a powerful story, and most importantly, a powerful lesson. Also, they tried making a movie out of this book, and unfortunately the movie was not quite as good, but better than nothing. The movie does not do the book no type of justice, and but nonetheless it's a classic novel. You should be able to pick it up on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles. You probably have to order it because I know they're not going to have it in stock. It's like I said, it's a classic book. I got mines back in the day from Christian book distributors. I love to buy my Christian stuff from Christian, book distributors, CBD. And no, I'm not getting promoted to promote them. I just love shopping, when I get my Christian stuff. I like going there. Okay, next up is Redeeming Love. Redeeming Love is by Miss Francine Rivers. This novel is based upon the book of Hosea. It's a book, it's kind of like set in the 1800s, but like I said before in my first video, don't let that fool you. The storyline is from beginning to end. It's just amazing, amazing, amazing. And I can guarantee you, if you stick with the book long enough, because it took me 3 days to read it, and like I said, I only took 3 days because I had to go to sleep. If you allow yourself to get to the end of this book, don't say I didn't warn you. Get yourself some tissue. Powerful, powerful message. A message of unconditional love, because God knows Hosea had some unconditional love. Something I probably could have learned from myself. And a lesson of grace, a lesson of mercy, God's mercy, His love, His grace, and that none of us is too far, that God can't reach us if we want to be reached. So great book. You can pick her up anywhere. And this book, I have been praying. This is one of the books I've been praying for as well, that God could send someone with the right amount of money, who's saved, that can understand the vision to really make this movie. Like Mel Gibson. Mel, just in case he happened to see this video, we could use you on this project. This is a great project. Great project. And like with the book In His Steps, like I was saying before, they made a movie out of that book. And quite frankly, the movie does not do the book no type of justice at all. None whatsoever. None at all. If you read this book, there's no way in the world after reading those 2 books that I just mentioned that something in you is not going to change. And that's a guarantee. Okay, third one up, also by Francine Rivers, Bathsheba. And this book is actually one of the books from the Lineage of Grace series. In that series. There's one of Ruth. I had began reading it, but I didn't get to finish it. And they're very small books, but I just didn't get to finish it. There's Bathsheba, there's Tamar. I can't remember. I think Mary was one, but they're great books. Bathsheba is a very, very powerful book. And of course, we're talking about Bathsheba, you know, from the book of Samuel, where David was there looking at her when he should have been looking at her, you know, and she kind of puts her spin on it. And once again, a tearjerker, a powerful lesson at the end of it. Powerful lesson. Next up is none other than Mr. Frank Peretti. Piercing the Darkness and This Present Danger. And like I said before, I always get mixed up with these two titles. I can't remember which one is which one. But the one of them I did not finish reading. And that's the one with the schoolmaster. The first one was with this church. I think it was in Asheville. I can't remember if that's Piercing the Darkness or This Present Darkness. But either way, these are two powerful books that one must read. And this is another two books that I am praying for as well. A movie needs to be made out of these books. I mean, these books are awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And these are something that you're going to want to own and keep for yourself, because these are truly great books. Next up, I have, of course, The List by Robert Whitlow. The List is kind of like dealing with secret societies. So you can grab that book, and like I said, whenever I recommend Robert Whitlow to anyone, which I always do, that's the first book I always tell them to read. I think it's a very important book, and it helps you to be aware of your surroundings at times. It's very important. And it also shows you how God is able to do anything through his son Jesus Christ. And that light always wins. Next up, In the Shadow of Denali by Tracy Peterson. And this is from the Alaska Heart series. Great book, and its focus on Denali is this hill, or this mountain actually, sorry. This mountain in Alaska that it actually is a real mountain. And she centers her story around this mountain in Alaska, and it's like way back in the 1800s. But the way she wrote this book, I mean, you just fall right into place with it. It's like you're sitting right there, and you're in the midst of everything as it's happening. Great story of love and forgiveness as well. Next up, Jezebel by Jacqueline Thomas. The title speaks for itself. She actually lived up to her name. Lady Jasmine by Victoria Christopher Murray, a first lady that came from the stripper world, and high maintenance, very high maintenance, if I may add. But the story is pretty good, and there's a follow-up to Lady Jasmine. I don't remember what the name of it is. I read it as well, but I cannot remember the name of it. And thank God, at least Lady Jasmine has grown a little bit. So, but that's also a very good book. Hadassah, One Night with the King. A movie was made from this. I still have not gotten a chance yet to see the movie. And every weekend I keep telling myself, I'm going to watch it. But guess what? The movie watches me. I'm fast asleep. Because like I said, my time, there's so much to do. And I'm just looking forward to the spring where I can relax a little bit and at least catch up on some books and some movies. And I definitely want to see this movie. But I can tell you this. The book is awesome. And it's written by Tommy Tenney. It's co-authored with him. I can't remember the name of the other author. But the main name on it is Tommy Tenney. Then, of course, these two books were supposed to be part initially of a 7-part series. I don't know what happened, because when he first announced it, that's what he said, and I was actually happy. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. I don't know if the book sales were low, that deal was cut short. So what was supposed to be 7 turned out to be just 2. In other words, it started in 1 and it ended in 2. But nonetheless, it started powerful and it ended even more powerful. So it's like, I guess, what would have been 7 compacted together to make the 1 and the 2. But 2 great books. And for me, this was an awesome book. This is another book. These 2 from this series that also need to be made into a movie. And the first book is called Devil's Island. And kind of like showing you a bit about the Roman Empire, and I don't want to get too much into it, but it's like about the Roman Empire and this particular like denying Christ and the ramifications of denying Christ, more or less. I don't want to give away too much. And then the follow up to that is The Avenger of Blood, and which is, if I remember correctly, it's kind of the offspring from the character that we're dealing with in the first book, which is Devil's Island, because I've read these like since 1997, so it's been a long time. And both of these books are written or were written by Pastor John Hagee. Very good books. Speak of the Devil, which I spoke about in my first video. Cast Thy First Stone by Kimberly Lawson Roby, and Speak of the Devil by Lachey M. Scott. The Reckoning by Beverly Lewis. I think there's a movie. I did not get a chance to see that either, but there's a movie. I think you can find it on YouTube. There's a movie based on the book. I remember it being something about it's in an Amish town. It starts out in the Amish town setting in Lancaster, and then it kind of moves to like upstate New York. So she was adopted. She found out she was adopted, and she goes in search of her birth mother, and then the story unfolds from there. I can't give away any more, but it's a great book. Pick it up. Now, something that I forgot to mention on the first video, and I only now recognized it as I'm going down my list. Age. I forgot to mention in my last video when I was talking about some of my favorite Christian fiction authors, I forgot to mention, I touched a little bit on it, but I didn't quite mention and go a little deeper into it. I forgot to mention Mr. Jerry B. Jenkins. He's written, they have him listed as the co-author of the Left Behind series, but in reality, he was the writer. He's the pen behind that series. Also, he has the Underground Zealot series, which is very good, just as good. And then there was the Antichrist Rising series that he also did with Tim LaHaye after the Left Behind series. He's a great writer, awesome writer. And I remember at one point in time he was the head of the Christian Writers Guild, and I had joined that many years ago. But like everything, no time I couldn't finish it. It no longer exists. But they had like an apprentice class where they would teach you how to write. From Christian skits, plays, novels, devotions, articles. It was just great, and I just couldn't. The finances at the time, I had to stop it, but I still have that binder with all that information. I think he still does something out there as far as with teaching writing, but it's not under the Christian Writers Guild anymore. So yeah, so basically these are the list of some of my favorite Christian fiction books that I have recommended. And the reason why I did this video is because oftentimes people wonder, what do I do? Because I don't really go out. I work 5 days a week. I'm out there out of my house from morning till evening. And during the weekends, I'm either working on my podcast, cooking for the following week. There's so much to do. So I was speaking with someone and I said to her, I have enough in here to keep me occupied. My Bible, my studying as far as, preparing for the next episodes for the various podcasts, editing, filming, of course, doing a video. Well, this is an easy video. Soap making. So, I lead a very busy life. So yeah, there's no boredom in my life at all whatsoever. There's no boredom. And even though at times, sometimes it can be a lot, especially with a full-time job, I still give God thanks for everything that He has allowed me to do, because I know that without Him and His Son Jesus Christ, I cannot do this. And even though a lot of it I do not get paid for, I enjoy doing it. I truly enjoy doing it. And when God calls you to something, there's always a pleasure in doing it. It truly is. And these are some of the things that He wanted me to share with others. And I remember I was sharing this with a lady, like going back to that conversation. I said, yeah, I look forward to every weekend, because every weekend I prepare a special dish for myself. I cook something special for myself. I make a special dessert for myself. And that's something I don't want to go too much into it, because that's another video that I'll also be doing, and I'll be sharing that. So one of the things I was telling her that I love to do when I have a chance, listen to some great music, of course. I love when I can get a chance to read a good book. I mean, I still read books, but at this point, it's the Bible, which is the main book that I need. And the other few books that I'm able to kind of read a bit, as I'm busy preparing for learning to do documentaries and better improving my filmmaking and improving my podcasting. So those now are the kind of books that I more read, because I'm more kind of like studying and trying to learn and hone the craft so I can produce much better content, But I look forward to getting to a point in time where I can get back to reading some of these books and even other books out there. And my next video also, I will be sharing some of my favorite Christian fiction, well, actually Christian movies. So stay tuned for that other video, and that other video should probably be up sometime next week. I don't know what's wrong with my tongue. But once again, thank you so much for joining me in this video. I hope and pray that you enjoyed this video, and please come back. And if you haven't subscribed already, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Okay? It'll just let you know when I release another video. Have a blessed